Hey everyone, it's Liz and I'm here to share another project with you. I decided to make a little box for myself. I haven't made anything for myself in a while, so I definitely wanted to create something. It's actually a little Shabby Chic box, and it's meant to store these little Shabby Chic, the resin Prima pieces. I just ordered quite a few of them and I wanted a little box that I could store them all, so that's why I went with this Shabby Chic theme. But let me tell you what I did here. The box is just a wooden box that I found at TJ Maxx. It was actually a little box with different compartments. It held like an old-fashioned little toys, like jacks, playing cards, a little yo-yo, things like that. I really liked it because it had the acrylic. This is an acrylic top that slides out. And it had all these little compartments in different sizes, so that's what I really liked about the box. And I think I got it on clearance for like $3, something like that. But anyway, so that's what I did. I started off with that wooden box, and I painted all of the edges that I knew were not going to be covered with paper in the warm white color by Folk Art. And I'm just going to kind of turn the box around so you guys can take a look at all the different angles, and then I'll go over in detail exactly what I did to the box. But the paper collection you guys might recognize. It's an older one, not too old, but it's, not a fairly new collection, but it's by Kaisercraft, and it's called True Romance, and it is so beautiful, you guys. I love this. I only recently picked it up, for my birthday, but it's such beautiful colors and really nice floral images, beautiful birds and butterflies. Look how pretty the top looks. I love the way the top turned out. It's really pretty. And so that's the paper collection I used. Let me show you real quick in case you guys are not familiar with it. But like I said, it's not too new, it's not too old, but it's by Kaisercraft, and I used a combination of the 6.5 paper pad and the 12 by 12 pages as well. The little kit here, and I've got the little thing upside down, but it's True Romance, and it's so beautiful. I mean, just look at all the little bird images. It's a really pretty collection, and I thought it'd be perfect for the Shabby Chic theme I was going for. So anyways, so once I painted the box with the warm white, I then adhered all my papers, and as you can see, all the papers on there. This one's like a really soft mint green color. It's really pretty. Basically, I used two different sheets of patterned paper to adhere on the sides. See, this one's got polka dots. So I used alternating, like these two have polka dots, and then the long ones, it's a different strip pattern paper. It kind of had like a little, almost like a fleur-de-lis or damask type of pattern, but a lot of it got covered up with these beautiful trims that I used. The trim that you see here is from Joann's, and it is so gorgeous, you guys, so pretty. I just adhered it on the little floral part here. See how it has a little flower in the center? I just added a little bit of hot glue, and I adhered it all the way around the box. I really like the way that came out because it's so pretty. And of course, on each of the centers of the little flowers, I added just a flat back pearl. And it's actually part of the trim up here. I just cut out each of the pearls individually and added it to the center of the little flower on the trim. And it looks really, really pretty, you guys. It's such a beautiful little detail. And on top here, this is an acrylic top. I think I mentioned that already. And of course, I covered it with, one of the patterned papers. And what I did, I adhered it on there with some glossy accents, simply because I knew hot glue wasn't going to work, or Mod Podge on the acrylic top. So I used glossy accents to adhere it, and I also adhered little strips of paper on these edges up here. And of course, they're going to get covered up with the pearls, but there's like a little strip of paper on all the edges. And then I added that flat back pearl trim on top. Really, really beautiful. I love it. Look how nice. And then what I did to all the papers, I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see it, but I'm going to show you. I just took like a little pouncer tool, which I love doing with acrylic paint, and just pouncing, on the edges with some warm white paint. It just softens up the look, and it definitely adds a sort of like, Shabby Chic kind of look to it. I really like it. So I did that on all of the edges of the papers. And of course, over here, some of it's going to get covered. Let me show you the bottom. I've got stuff in there, so I don't want to like turn it the whole way down, but Let me just show you. Look how pretty paper is at the bottom. And I added little feet to my box, and these are just little wooden, they're like little drawer pulls or little pegs, whatever you want to call them. I picked them up at Hobby Lobby. It's a pack of 14 for like $2, and it's just raw wood. I painted them with the warm white paint, and again I softened all of the edges of the pattern paper with just some acrylic paint and a little pouncer tool that I like using. It's just like a little foam brush. It's really cute. I love the effect. It's very nice. I really do like it. And so for the top, like I said, I adhered one of the pattern papers using glossy accents. I did dab some of that paint on all the edges, and then I really wanted to create sort of like a little garden theme on top. You know, I knew I wanted lots of flowers, lots of beautiful shabby chic embellishments to go with the box. So I started off by using these doilies, and I've got these doilies down here. You can see this one the best, but you know, a lot of them get covered up. There's a little bit poking out right here. And these doilies were given to me by Jen, who is Oak Tree Vibrations here on YouTube. Thank you so much, Jen. These doilies were so beautiful and just perfect for my project. Here's like a small one over here. So I adhere the doilies down. They're beautiful ivory color. And then I also added just little bits of cheesecloth. See? Because I knew once I did my little clusters, I wanted just a little bit of cheesecloth kind of poking through. Or poking out from, you know, the little flower clusters. And then I basically first started off with like the big items. I wanted to add a bird cage. I knew that for certain. And that little bird cage is a little wood laser cut bird cage from Michael's. It's in, you know, the little wood section. It's by Art Minds. And it was just a natural wood color, which I absolutely love, but I did want it to, you know, accent it a little bit more. So I dry brushed it with some warm white. And then I went along the edges using some vintage photo. I hope you guys are able to see that, just to kind of shade it a little bit. And then I took some sandpaper and I sanded on some of the bars. I hope you can see that. But some of the wood, the natural wood color, kind of pokes out a little bit or peeks out a little. So it looks really pretty. And what I did is I used this ribbon, the sleeve ribbon from my stash, and I wrapped it around the bird cage to make it look like the vine is, you know, just kind of going up and around the bird cage. It looks really pretty. And I just kind of dabbed a little bit of hot glue here and there just to make it stay in place. So it's really cute the way that turned out. But that was like my main focus. And unfortunately, I wanted it to stand up just a little bit more, and I used some E6000, but I thought it would completely be dry, you know, by the time that I left it alone, and then it kind of started to go down a little bit, but it's okay. I think it looks fine, so I'm not too disappointed in that, but it's pretty. But I knew I wanted a bird cage, lots of natural elements. And what I did here, this is actually a die cut from the 6.5 paper pad. And it says, "Joy is not in things, it is in us." And I thought that was a beautiful quote. I also like the way that it introduced a new color to the papers that I had used, because it's got like a little bit of a violet color. And so I like that. I used the pouncer tool on the edges of it to soften it up a bit. And then I also have this beautiful angel here. This is a little angel from my stash, you guys. It's just like a plastic little cherub. And I gave it 2 coats of warm white paint. Of course, I let it dry real good between coats to make sure it covered up. And then I applied rock candy, the Distress Crackle paint on top of that. And look at the great texture it creates. It adds lots of little cracks, a little bit of a sheen, and he almost looks like a resin piece, or, you know, made out of stone or something, and he's beautiful. So I've got him there, and he's just kind of looking away, and he just looks beautiful, surrounded by all these flowers and like this gorgeous garden. And all the flowers, let me see, I guess we'll start off here and then kind of move our way back, but this one here is just from my stash, and it was already pink. It was the perfect color. And all I did is I dabbed warm white acrylic paint on top of that, again, to soften up the colors. This one here is also from my stash, but this one was white. And this particular one I painted, I wanted to pick up some of the lavender tones from the little sign here. And I used Lindy Stamp Gang, I believe, let's see here, Passionate Plum. And now this is a very strong color, so I diluted it quite a bit actually. I just sprayed maybe about 5 or 6 little sprays on my craft mat, my craft sheet. And I also sprayed, you know, like 6 to 7 sprays of water from my mini mister to get this look, because I wanted like a light lavender. I didn't want a deep purple. And so I colored the flowers, and then I used acrylic paint on top of the petals as well, again to soften them up. And then I've got some of that same ribbon, the vines kind of poking in and out from the flower clusters. You guys can see them. There's some behind the angel here. And then over here, these little rosebuds are from my stash. I picked these up at a local store out here, and these are fabric, and they are already a soft green, you know, like a little mint green color, but I did use a little bit of acrylic paint on top of them, again, just to make them more shabby chic, just to soften them up a bit. And you can see a lot of little pearls. These are these little pearl berries from a pick from Christmas time. I just cut out each individual berry, and I kind of tucked it here and there throughout the clusters of flowers. You can see some more of those little leaves sticking out, the little leaf ribbon. You can see the cheesecloth. And then over here in the back, I've got some more flowers. And these huge ones back here are from the wedding section at Michael's, and they're actually white. And I used Plumeria Pink by Lindy's. Let me see if I have it here so I can show you. Yep, Plumeria Pink, if this would focus. But the same thing, it is a very bright pink. Of course, I don't want it so bright, so same thing, you guys. I just sprayed, you know, a couple of sprays onto my craft sheet, a couple of sprays of water, kind of mixed up with a little bit of a paintbrush, and then I used that same paintbrush to paint each of the petals. And so it gives it like a really pretty pink color, and it actually matches the flowers on the paper very, very well. And again, some acrylic paint on top, just kind of, you know, dabbed on there with the pouncer tool. Here's another purple one. Here you got some berries kind of poking in and out. I've got a little acrylic bauble over here, and I dabbed some paint on that as well. And here's some more berries. Here you can see that little doily that I was telling you about. Very pretty. Look how beautiful it looks. I just wanted just little parts here and there to kind of show through. And then over there, over here in the back is another flower. This one's an I Am Roses. And it was already ivory, but I did dab just the petals a tiny bit with some pink ink, just a little ink pad, and then some white acrylic paint on top of that. Here I've got some more rosebuds from my stash, some more little berries, another one of those huge pink flowers, and look how pretty they are. I like these because they've got like a little bit of a wrinkled texture, and they're really big. They're actually a really decent size, and so I really like working with these. And like I said, you can get these in the wedding section at Michael's. It's I think you get like 12 per pack or something like that. And then there's another big pink one, some more berries. Here I've got a little itty bitty one that I dyed using the Passionate Plum, and then some acrylic paint on top of that. Here's a little leaf. And here you can see, you know, the pearls, and of course, look at the trim, how gorgeous. I love the trim, it's so pretty. I got that trim in the dollar section. You know how sometimes they'll have like little packs of, you know, it's usually like a yard of trims, and that was one of them, and I think it was only like $1, but it was so pretty. I couldn't pass it up, and I had just enough for this box, you guys, because I ended up with only about maybe this much left. And so over here I've got some more little berries and some more flowers, the little vines kind of poking in and out. Look how pretty. Here you can see the other doily that I've got there, and you can see some of the cheesecloth, and these are the rosebuds. And let me see, it's just a lot of the flowers, you know, they're all the same actually. Just kind of wanted to create like a little, you know, pretty little garden, you know, very serene, very shabby chic. Here's another acrylic bauble. And then some, there's a little butterfly right on top. Look how cute that is. And that's from the Martha Stewart Punch. And I just took a scrap of the pattern paper from the True Romance collection, and I cut that out, and I added a little pearl in the center. I dabbed the edges with some warm white acrylic paint. Very, very pretty, you guys. And then here's a purple flower. Basically, all the flowers are all the same, you know. There's no reason for me to keep going, you know, but you guys can see that. But it's really pretty. I like the way that it came out. And like I said, this is it's been a while since I created something just for myself, you know. And what I did, I wanted to create like this opens very easily, but I added like just this piece of sheer ivory ribbon on the bottom, and it's kind of like a little loop. This way I could just, you know, slide it open. but let me show you real quick the inside. And so you just kind of, you know, pull this out, and it slides out very, very easily, you guys. And let me show you the top real quick. See, it's made out of acrylic, and on the edges I just used some warm white, here, some warm white acrylic paint with my pouncer tool. And the reason I didn't cover all the way to the edge is because I wanted it to make sure that it slid in nicely, that it didn't get caught. So that's why I have just a little bit of the acrylic showing here, and I used the white, sorry about the glare, the warm white acrylic paint on top, just kind of sponged on there. But let me show you real quick the bottom so you guys can see what it was. But see, it was like it's a compendium, what is it? I can't even read. Classic compendium game, or compendium of classic games, something like that. But yeah, it's just a little acrylic top. But I love the way the box turned out. And let me show you what I'm keeping inside, you guys. And so here's the box. These are all the little compartments. And I used a different pattern paper per compartment, and I covered all of the sides, as you can see. Very pretty. And I even covered, you know, all these little pieces on top, and then I added warm white acrylic paint that I sponged on there. And this is just the little, it's a perfect box for all my little resin pieces. Look how cute they are in there, right? And they fit perfectly, because I just ordered quite a bit from Joann's. I've got a couple more in the package, but I'm going to get them out and add them all in here. And I liked how, you know, some of the compartments are longer, so I could fit the longer pieces, and then there's wider ones. So it's just perfect storage for my little resin pieces. And so I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. It's very, very cute, and I love it. I love that it's shabby chic, because I love shabby chic, you guys. You guys know that, but I love vintage. And I'm usually always creating, you know, vintage items and things like that. So you know, this was a little bit different for me, but I had a lot of fun, and I think it turned out beautiful. And I really hope you guys like it. Such a beautiful box, and I'm loving the colors and all the flowers. So that's my project for today. I hope you guys like it. And I definitely want to thank you guys for watching. And if you have any questions, you know, leave me a comment. Or whatever. Your comments are always appreciated, and I appreciate all of your support. Definitely. You guys are the best. Anyways, I'll see you guys real soon. Bye-bye.